Stay right here, though. Chicago Now starts right now at the top of the hour. We'll see you there.
Good morning and welcome to Chicago Now. Wednesday, is this week going by quickly or slowly for you?
It's a weird week for me. I was off Monday. I'm going to be off again on Friday.
Okay, so it's a short week.
It's a short week. Can I ask you a question? Because we were just I was watching the mega poll for the day today. What's your favorite Girl Scout cookie?
Oh, I'm in the Thin Mint camp.
No.
No?
No. Really?
Frozen Thin Mints?
Nah.
Sleeve of those things?
Not
kind
great.
of living in your freezer?
Kind of dry, kind of thin.
Ooh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah, no.
What camp are you in?
I think I like tag-alongs, but...
those are the peanut butter ones, right?
Yeah, but my baby's allergic to peanuts, so now I can't have those.
No.
But Samoas, I think, came in second place, but those you can get like an off-brand Aldi version of a Samoa.
I think you can get an off-brand Thin Mint as well. It's actually not off-brand. I think there's a Keebler product of some kind that resembles the Thin Mint.
And now they have this new Adventurefuls, if you didn't know.
Yes, I'm curious about that.
Yeah, me too. Maybe we'll have to do a taste
We'll have to
test.
see. But so I didn't see the end of the Insta Bowl. So Thin Mints pulled out the victory today?
They won. They won.
Hey.
I'm not really surprised. I feel like it's pretty popular. You could maybe crumble some of those in some ice cream. That might be a winner.
There you go. Now you're onto something.
Okay.
Caitlin, we are going to be speaking about something I know nothing about today, and that is gel manicures.
Okay, so gel manicures. I'm glad that we're going to be diving into the myths and the facts because. You know, you stick your hands under these little lamps, and I've been getting my nails done as of late because I feel like it's a fun thing to do. But with these nails too, the gel and also like these, what's the word? The fake nails. You stick your acrylic.
Thanks,
Delaney. You stick your hands in these little boxes that have these blue lights, and it kind of resembles, in my opinion, like a sun lamp, or like when you go tanning back in the day.
Right.
Something like that. So, you know, they say that it could give your hands cancer, perhaps.
We did a report on this last week,
That was like the contents of the gel manicure, I think. This is more of like I think the
blue lights
of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to the bottom of that.
Yeah.
Also, if you're busy like we are on weeknights in particular, and you are feeling like you can't squeeze in cooking dinner, like a full meal, you're always ordering takeout, you never have time. I love this coming up from the New York Times. They just dropped a list called the Weeknight 100. 100 fast, flavorful, family-friendly recipes to make your evenings easier. And we get to speak with the NYT Cooking's editor-in-chief about this list. This will be like very applicable in our household.
I want minimal ingredients, please.
Minimal ingredients, maximum results.
Thank you.
Right?
Easy, simple solution.
That's exactly what this list is about, and there's 100 different options.
Yeah, okay.
So, before we get to those segments, we've got some breaking local sports news, and we're checking in with our very own Chris K to talk about a local hero by the name of Anthony Rizzo. There's an announcement involving Anthony Rizzo today. Chris K, take us through what was said today. What was announced, sir?
Yeah, it was breaking news today that Anthony Rizzo is going to retire from Major League Baseball after 14 seasons, and he's going to take an ambassador role with the Chicago Cubs. And I mean, this is a big shift, especially for one of the biggest fan favorites in Chicago Cubs history, especially one of the, I guess, most recent fan favorite to ever grace this game, especially for the Chicago Cubs, leading them to the first World Series championship in over 100 years. And one of the faces of the franchise that is going to be beloved in this city. I don't think he'll have to pay for a meal in Chicago ever.
No.
But he's going to take a step away from the game, but he's going to remain within the game as an ambassador. And I think that's the best part for the Cubs, too, is someone that fans probably really wanted him back, especially when he was a free agent this past offseason, where they were wondering, well, would they bring him back? Would he ever return? But as he's going to retire from the game, and he's going to retire as a Chicago Cub as he rightfully should.
All right, Chris. So Rizzo wasn't just an inspiration on the field, but off the field for his support for cancer research.
Yeah.
So can you talk about how much Rizzo has meant to the city of Chicago, not only as a player, but because of his work with cancer research?
Yeah, I think that's one of the most impressive things, and also one of the most inspiring things too. And He won an award in 2017 for that work specifically. And I think when you think back to how much this means to the city of Chicago, it's because it means a lot to him. He survived Hodgkin's lymphoma. I believe he was in remission of that in the late 2000s. And as a cancer survivor himself, it meant a lot for him. And you could see how many times he went around spending time with kids suffering from a similar afflictions in the city of Chicago. And that was something that obviously you could tell meant a lot to him, but you could also tell how much he bled that care and through the rest of the clubhouse, through the city of Chicago, where he got a lot of teammates to also help and pitch in too as well. And I think that's an important thing, and also something that you really don't see highlighted a lot, especially with athletes that are the face of a franchise. Usually a lot of those will keep it themselves, but Anthony was very outspoken about that, was also very upfront and at the forefront of a lot of those causes and a lot of those philanthropies.
Those factors obviously made him a fan favorite as well. Your reaction to the fact that I think I heard you say he's retiring as a Cub, because he spent many years on the Yankees, correct?
Yeah, he spent, I believe it was he's traded to the Yankees in 2021, and I believe re-signed there as a free agent and spent the back end of the 2021 season, the 22, 23, and 24 season as a Yankee. And I know last year at this time, he was preparing for a playoff run with the New York Yankees, eventually was in the World Series with the New York Yankees too. So he was one of those players that was holding out at first base, but I think at this point you could kind of tell, and I want to say it was around May, I can't remember which game it was. I think it was the one of the White Sox Crosstown Classic games where Chris Chelios was singing the seventh inning stretch, and he said, "Hey, if this is it for Anthony Rizzo, let's give it up for the team captain." We're all like, "Well, what do you mean? He hasn't retired. He hasn't officially retired." And but I think at that point we started to kind of understand, hey, the writing might be on the wall. But after a handful of years with the Yankees, helping them be a playoff team, he's called it a career.
Can we talk about how he's going to be an ambassador along with Andre Dawson, Ryan Dempster, Fergie Jenkins, Lee Smith, and others? What does it mean to be a Cubs ambassador? What does that role hold?
Yeah, I think that's one of those roles that you're going to be at the forefront. Your face is still going to be with the franchise, and your face is going to be associated with the team for as long as you want it to be, for as long as the team would have you. And I think that's an important part too. And I think it's an extremely fitting role for someone that was the face of the franchise for the World Series winning team in 2016. You remember in 17 when they came out for the season opener, he was hoisting the World Series trophy with Jason Hayward to his right. And I think that's one of the moments that Cubs fans are going to remember forever. And they're going to remember him forever as the captain of that team, as one of the most outspoken players, as one of the most fan favorite players, also one of the most emotionally, what's a good word for it? I guess just outspoken. You remember saying he's in a glass case of emotion in Game 7 of the World Series, which we all were, but he was too, and it made him more relatable in that sense. But now he's going to be relatable in the sense that he's forever going to be a Cub, just like a lot of fans that identify with the Cubs, just as Anthony Rizzo will for the rest of his baseball career.
This is great. Yeah, so he's kind of going to be an ambassador with the team. I'm going to put you on the spot, Chris, for a second here. They got a lot of statues outside of Wrigley Field. Let's see, the ones that come to mind: Ryan Sandberg, sweet swinging Billy Williams is out there. The names of the others, oh yeah, Ernie Banks, of course, and among others. Do you think Rizzo is statue, maybe not, I don't want to use statue worthy, but like, do you think that's in the future at Clark and Addison?
Hey, Anthony, let me read off some statistics that I have here.
Oh, okay.
He is 6th all-time in Cubs history in home runs. He's a 3-time All-Star. He has 1,311 hits, 784 runs batted in. He has multiple memorable moments, from the tarp catch to his playful banter with Freddie Freeman, going back and forth between the third and second baseline, yelling Frederick. You're talking about the World Series win, but also the guy that caught the last out of the league championship win in 2016 going into the World Series, and then caught the last out of the World Series as well. He was a team captain in that regard. He broke the World Series streak, the one championship in Chicago so many kids have dreamed of winning from you could talk from the 50s all the way on to when I was a kid growing up. There were so many people that dreamed of winning that, catching that final out. He was the guy that did it. And I think we should probably remember him as that, and build a statue of him with his hands up celebrating that final out in the World Series. I don't think it's out of the question.
There it is.
I think you absolutely should build a statue for Anthony Rizzo, for a guy that not only was the face of the franchise, but has so many fans that wanted to bring him back. I mean, from this morning when he retired officially, I mean, I could show you all the texts from my friends, from Megan, Haley, Vicky, all my friends down all the way, that just talked about how much they love Anthony Rizzo, how much that they are fans because of Anthony Rizzo, and how much that World Series run will live in their minds forever because of a player like Anthony Rizzo.
Okay, it's settled. I like that resounding answer, Chris.
I can ask the devil's advocate, is there any bad blood about him leaving in 2021?
Oh.
You know, like, do you think people are like, he left us, you're not welcome back?
I don't think there's bad blood, because at that point in 2021, the Cubs were not in contention at all. They were at the back end of that core of players. And we kind of knew the writing was on the wall for that team to kind of break up, for the core to kind of say, okay, like, this is it. We had a really good run. It was so memorable, but it's time to go. It's time to call it on this specific core of players. And when they traded Javier Baez away, when they traded Chris Bryant away, Anthony Rizzo away, in quite rapid succession too. I remember it kind of felt like the collective heart was just shattering around the city of Chicago when those moves were made. But he didn't have a say in that, and he could have come back. He could have come back and been, I guess, done the victory lap for the Cubs. But he did that last year when he was able to come back to Wrigley Field. He had his victory lap. He had his moment. The fans filled the stands. He had a whole ovation. He had a tribute video to him and everything too. So he could have, but his legacy is cemented forever. There's nothing that could change that. And he didn't have a say in him leaving, but he now has a say in how he plays out the rest of his baseball career, and that's going to be as a Chicago Cub.
Love it. Chris K., thank you, sir. Always good to see you.
Guys, it's so great to be on this show with you every day, I tell you.
Yes,
it's so great to be here. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.
He has a nice painting behind him.
It is. It is a nice work of art there. All right, so yeah, it'll be great to see him in and around Wrigley Field. I mean, I think Chris is spot on when he says this man will never have to pay for a drink in the city of Chicago for like the rest of his life.
Yeah.
You know?
So he's just a Cub through and through.
It is.
He left
really
for a second, but he didn't want to, probably.
Exactly. Little footnote there. All right. Coming up, we are going to get to the bottom of this gel manicure mystery.
Yeah.
And some concerns revolving this, do I call it a procedure? Or
No.
It's not a procedure. That's a little dramatic, huh?
Yeah, sticking your hands in the thing, okay? And I want to know, is it okay for kids to do it? Because if it's bad for you...
Can't be good for the youngins.
I did let my daughter do it once.
Okay.
But right. You know, we'll get to the facts, okay?
Should Caitlin be worried? The answer when we come back.
Oh, Milan spots.
Sunspots, age spots. We can't wait to talk to a dermatologist who is
older,
in studio.
you know? Yeah, the sunspots on your nose.
I've got a couple here that I try my best to cover with concealer.
Yeah.
Before the shows.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Oh yeah. Okay.
See that?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Color match,
Those are
too.
sunspots.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Our poor doctor.
I was actually here in June for a live interview. I talked about, what did I talk about? Oh, hyperhidrosis. That's what I talked about.
Oh,
Well, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Not with the both of you. I was with somebody else, and I'm forgetting.
We've had you on Zoom, though, I believe, as well.
I have been on Zoom. I can't remember now which network, but it was actually for gel manicures.
Well, I've said this in the
Like
past.
the skin cancer.
On your
but-
third visit, you officially become a friend of the show.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
so
All right.
you're kind of on
I'm on
probationary phase.
You're still deciding.
Exactly.
Okay.
She was
All right.
standing off to the side, and we were like, "Oh, she's right there." She heard me say that I let my 6-year-old get a gel manicure. So let's get into it, Doctor. Okay,
That's
this
okay.
is, by the way, this is Dr. Vidya Shivakumar. She is the assistant professor and dermatologist at Rush University Medical Center. So, getting into the gel manicure, I think they're popular because you're spending the money to get your nails done. You don't want them to chip right away, but you are sticking your hand under those lamps. So lately, there's been a growing concern about the safety of certain gel polishes. We did that interview talking about the UV or LED lamps used now to cure them. So are gel manicures putting your skin at risk? And what kind of risk are we talking here? So doctor, is the gel manicure unsafe? The lights? Is it how often you do it? Is it comparable to the sunshine? Give us all the details.
Sure. So with the no chip gel manicures, the UV lamp or the LED lamp is what's important to actually cure the nail polish and give it that hard finish. But in terms of, you know, how safe is it? At this point in time, we don't have any large-scale studies showing that there's an increased skin cancer risk from the LED lamp or the UV lamp. However, if you think about UV rays in general, like from the sun, we do know that those UV rays, the intensity, they're carcinogens, meaning that it does lead to skin cancer. But how do we extrapolate that into these lamps, right? The intensity of the UV light is likely very different than the exposure you're getting if you're out, you know, at the beach or you're at the tanning bed. So in terms of what's the actual skin cancer risk, we still don't know, but because of the theoretical concern of UV rays, it's just smart to think about protection. So wear sunscreen if you're gonna, you know, get your no chip manicures. Yeah.
That would fix the problem.
That, or even there's like UV gloves that you can have the tips cut off. So
No way.
there are things that you can do. I would say moderation is key, you know, maybe not doing back-to-back every single time, like taking the breaks here and there. That would be important. And, you know, if you're at a really high risk for skin cancer, you've had lots of skin cancers before, maybe you want to try different types of manicures, like the, you know, the dip or the powder manicures or traditional manicures, just so you're reducing that risk of the UV exposure.
Moderation is key in many areas of life. So let me ask you this, and it's funny to me to be actually doing an interview because this is like not
He gets his feet done all
in
the
my
time.
cart. I want to. I want to. But as I listen to you guys talk about, you know, putting your hands under these UV lights, can you compare that to a tanning bed, perhaps?
Good question.
Is it comparable there?
So in terms of the UV rays that are being, you know, emitted, it is going to be UVA, which is the longer wavelength, and so that does have a bigger risk for skin cancer and aging. However, the intensity of the UV light you're getting from a tanning bed is probably much higher than what you're getting from a UV lamp for your manicure. So I would say the intensity is going to be higher for a tanning bed, but it is still the UVA rays, which we do know can be, you know, toxic to the skin.
Okay, so the burning question that I have is,
No pun intended.
right. My daughter, so I let her get her gel manicure because she sees my nails and she's like, your nail polish stays on, why does mine chip right away? So I let her do it one time before school started, and I was like, you know, I don't really think that kids should be doing that. Is that your opinion too?
I agree. I think for a special occasion it's fine, but you know, I probably wouldn't advise kids to be getting like repeated gel manicures, like the no chip manicures. So I agree with that.
I'm going to back us up because last week or the week before we were talking about concerns about the gel itself.
Yeah.
Is it true that your nails are porous?
I would say it's thicker and less porous than the skin, but sure, yeah, it's a tissue that breathes essentially, yeah.
Is there concern about This is a stupid question. Like, is there concern about the gel itself?
Good question. So there's two things to think about. I would say with the no-chip manicures and the gel staying on the nail for so long and also requiring like strong acetone to remove it, it can weaken the nail. And so when you do it over time, it can feel like weaker and more brittle and just more damaged in a way. It's reversible though. If you take breaks, your nail can grow back and be normal again. But more recently, I think what's the bigger concern that's kind of been out would be the chemical ingredient in gel manicures. It's the acronym is TPO. It's dimethylbenzyl diphenylphosphine oxide. Very long.
Wow.
But basically, thank you.
Wow.
But basically, there was a concern recently because Europe has banned that chemical. So all the gel nail polishes that had that chemical in it are now banned. They're removed from the shelves. But we have not done that in the U.S. as of now. The FDA has not banned it. So that's really more of the concern is, is that chemical going to be an issue? Because they've shown in animal studies that it can cause some reproductive toxicity. We don't have any real world exposure and data on humans, so we don't know, the effects. We don't have concrete answers yet. But as of now, you can still find nail polishes with that ingredient in the U.S. But that literally just came out like last week. Yeah. That ban. So that's newer data, and honestly, more studies just need to come out on humans to understand the actual risk.
I would be curious too, to Anthony's point, and that wasn't a silly question, how your nails are a living organism. Mm-hmm. Is it bad for you to have nail polish at all on your fingernails? It's kind of like makeup, right? It's like probably not the best. Is that the same kind of idea? I don't think it's bad. I think it's fine.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, it's great to take breaks, but I don't think it's a bad thing to put nail polish on your nails.
That's good to know. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Interesting.
While we have an expert in studio, my wife has been bringing, not in a bad way, but bringing to my attention as I kind of round the corner into my late 40s here. I'm 46. Staying out of the sun,
Sounds great.
Management.
Yep.
You're not only a doctor, you also have extremely, extremely clear skin, if I may say so.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
What do you do personally? What advice do you give folks in terms of just day-to-day protection?
So I have genetics to thank, so I thank my mom and dad, because I do think your skin, a lot of it does come from your genes too. So there's nothing magical I'm necessarily doing, but I'm more of simple, less is more philosophy. So I think in general, if you think about what ages us, it is the sun, right? So it does, degenerate the collagen, the supporting blocks in our skin, leads to fine lines, wrinkles, all those things, the things that age us. So the number one thing would be sun protection. So having a sunscreen you really like to put on first thing in the morning. If you're going to be out, throughout the day, you're going to get a lot of sun exposure, reapply, wear hats with the, wide brim so you're getting protection. So that's number one. I think the second thing that can be helpful would be adding in a retinoid at night. That can definitely help build collagen and help some of the damage that you do get from, sun exposure.
We have a tube, a little tube of Retin A, I want to say it's called. How often do you use that as a nightly, or do you advise folks do that as a nightly thing?
Yeah, it just kind of depends. If you're first starting out using a retinoid, you have to precondition your skin because your skin goes through a period of remodeling, so it does take time for it to get used to the retinoid. So in the beginning, I would say just twice a week and kind of work your way up. But eventually, if you can tolerate a retinoid nightly, I think that's great.
I need to do that because I think I started off like hot off the press. I forget the brand that I used, but just, you see those social media things and it's like, oh, do this, this, and this. And one of them was like an acid. My skin is so sensitive. It got so dry and red. Oh. Yeah, not great. But on that line of questioning, I like that because I'm in my mid-30s and I heard when you get into your 30s, you should probably be doing some sort of like routine maintenance on your face. And I've never had Botox before, but do you recommend that too? Maybe facials of some sort or like a moisturizer facial to get done?
Yeah, good question. So, I mean, I think everybody in general, it's great to have a routine, right? A cleanser, moisturizer twice a day, sunscreen, and then as you're getting older, getting a retinoid on board. I think those are just some of your basic things that you can do. But beyond that, it's not a need, more as a want, right? Like if you want to do extra things, then there's a whole world of cosmetic procedures that you can enter into.
And it works.
So it does. I would say Botox is a great entry entry-level procedure when you're thinking about like the world of cosmetics.
Whoa.
Because it's temporary, it's not going to last, it's not a permanent thing, so you can try it out and see how you like it. It's not going to reverse any sun damage, but it's just going to help kind of, you know, soften the muscle like movement, so you're not getting as many like etched in lines.
Does it stave off wrinkles? A Botox procedure, does it stave off, actually delay wrinkles, creases?
Good question. Yeah, I mean, in a way, yes, because you're reducing the movement and you're weakening the muscle to some degree. So you're going to get, you know, that relaxation is going to lead to the less chance of you having like those etched in lines, like, you know, if you're doing it routinely.
On the sunscreen, facial moisturizers sometimes come with SPF. Is there a minimum SPF for it to be actually effective?
Yes, there is. So sometimes you'll see SPF of lower than 30, like you'll see 15 in makeup, but to really get good protection from UVB and UVA, it's good to look for an SPF 30 or higher. Actually, SPF is really, you know, the number is really relating to the protection of UVB, and that's really what leads to burns and, you know, the risk of skin cancer as well. But yeah, you want to stick with something at least a 30, but the key is the amount you're putting on and if you're reapplying, because it's not going to give you full day protection unless if you reapply.
So
midday or something? Midday? Go ahead.
Sure, midday.
I mean, technically
lunch
speaking, it only lasts for a couple of hours, but I would, it's not extremely practical to be putting it on every 2 hours, I think, for most people. But I think if you are going out again midday, you're going to be out at the beach or whatever it may be, I think it's always a great idea to reapply.
Do you have a website or something that you would recommend for people to go to if they have sensitive skin? Like I mentioned, I've got some allergy reaction things, just to find like the list of items that might be if you have oily skin or normal skin or dry skin, so they can pick their products if they're having issues?
You know, I think the American Academy of Dermatology is a reputable organization. They have a website, and it's geared to both doctors and, you know, just patients too. So if you want to learn more about really any condition, you can go to the website and start from there. And I think it'll be helpful. They might not recommend specific brands, but they may kind of give you guidance on what ingredients to look for, things like that.
One more question before we let you go. This is again related.
Do you have a suspicious mole that we need to look at, Anthony?
Actually, can you check winter versus summer facial? Okay, can you just give us the basics on not only moisturizing but also SPF and sun protection approaches, summer versus winter?
Sure. I mean, if you think about winter, especially in Chicago, it's dry, right? So there's a very low humidity when you compare it to summertime. So because of that, it's really sucking the moisture out of your skin. So you get dry, more irritated easily. So things that you can do would be to swap out maybe your facial moisturizer if you're using a lotion, which is more water-based. Maybe you can go to a cream, something a little bit thicker to really hold in the moisture in your skin. There's things like hyaluronic acid, which is an ingredient that helps absorb water.
That's the one I tried.
Yeah, you could put that on and then layer it with a cream.
Allergic reaction?
Yeah.
It might not be the hyaluronic acid, but more so something in like one of the other inactive ingredients. It's possible, but it could also be other things that you're using. It's you know, other products. Hard to know.
Yeah.
But you know, I would say that's the biggest thing, is really just feeling more dry and irritated. So you might have to cut back on your retinoid a little bit more, and then find ways to increase the moisture in your skin.
Yeah,
amazing info.
Yeah. She's not coming back.
She's like on a fast track friend of the show status.
She already is the friend.
I'm gonna do a preemptive yes.
Thanks.
Vidya Shivakumar, thank you very much for your expertise from Rush University. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Navigating this
Are you taking new patients? Maybe somebody's watching and thinking, I am.
Yes, I am taking new patients. I'm located in the West Loop. So yeah, I have an office there.
All right.
Very good. Dr. Shivakumar, thank you so much.
Got to get some retinoid. Retinoid B?
We've got two. Maybe I'll
give me one?
maybe I can steal one from our top drawer.
Don't tell Maggie.
Yeah. Actually, it seems to last forever.
Does it?
It's just like when I use it, I just have a tiny little smidge here.
It's just that pea-sized amount. That's all you need.
Goodness gracious. We need to up our facial procedures.
It's that time. It's all about shelf life, Cody.
I know.
It's all about shelf life.
Trying to extend that one.
All right, 10:29. When we come back, I'm super excited about this because when it comes to cooking dinner, I call myself a two-trick pony. I got tacos in the arsenal and baked salmon.
Do you eat it every week?
What's that?
Do you do it every week?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I've heard this great procedure. I keep saying procedure after you said procedure.
Yeah.
Where you go like, okay, we're going to have something with noodles on Monday. Tuesdays, we're going to have tacos. Wednesdays, we're going to do, I don't know, something else, soup. Thursday, you know, pizza on Fridays.
Pizza on Fridays is a thing for us,
rope this in, and we're going to have 100 different options.
100 different options. They're all easy. We can expand our, and the thing about this list that we're going to have coming up from New York Times is they're quick. They're quick and they're easy for busy parents out there. The New York Times, the editor of the cooking section, is going to be joining us next. Stay around. Welcome back. Okay, if you missed Good Day Chicago today, I want to get everybody updated on a new cookie making its debut. Girl Scout Cookies expanding their catalog. Explore Mores are what they're called. It's a Rocky Road ice cream inspired sandwich cookie. And they're saying this will round out the lineup for the 2026 Girl Scout cookie season.
So we have an adventure something, and now we have an explore something?
Exactly.
No.
What was the adventure thing called? Adventure what? Adventure Mores?
Something like that, but it was like a cream cookie.
All right, so like Thin Mints and Samoa's, Explore Mores will be available for purchase nationally, both online and in person at local booths from January to April of 2026. I didn't realize Girl Scout season was so stacked at the beginning of the year. That is what they look like. Caitlin,
they must have s'mores
your initial
flavors,
thoughts,
right? Well, they bet. Okay, so I'm looking at the picture. It looks like it's chocolate, maybe a little marshmallow. The Explore S'mores. I feel like they should have. Maybe that's like their trick on the name here.
Right. It's a little
they look good. I mean, I got to see it at the side profile. I can't look just
side
top.
profile. It's funny. Natalie's like, I love a good sandwich cookie. I think she's an Oreo fan, which are great.
Isn't, right?
This is inspired by Rocky Road ice cream. This is their tagline: filled with delicious flavors of chocolate, marshmallow, and toasted almond flavored creme.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah.
You see that?
Chocolate, marshmallow.
So I do. I mean, chocolate marshmallow. That is s'more.
Yeah.
Other than the graham cracker.
Maybe the graham cracker's like in the cookie part.
I mean, almond flavored. And then, as we all know, proceeds from each box of Girl Scout cookies stay with local troops and local councils to fund life-changing programs, experiences, and learnings.
Wasn't there an issue with Girl Scout cookies a few years back with like bad ingredients?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
That does ring a bell.
Yeah.
That does ring a bell. Were you?
A Girl Scout?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, what's the difference between a Girl Scout and a brownie?
Brownies are younger, I think.
Okay, so it's like Cub
brownies.
Scouts. Okay.
Yes, to Girl
Okay, I didn't know if that was like the nickname for a Girl Scout.
Yeah.
So it goes brownies, then Girl Scouts.
Yeah, I did it for
like
a little
Cub
bit.
Scouts, then Boy Scouts.
Yeah, we went to like a Girl Scout camp, super fun. Kind of scary, I remember, for my first trip.
Was it in a away camp?
Yeah, we got a little sleeping bag and some like, you know, plate that won't break. You bring it, super fun.
Okay.
But the new Girl Scout cookies, I mean, it's been a while. I don't know the last time they came out with a new Girl Scout cookie.
Right. Do you remember selling them as part of your experience?
Yeah, I've never been. Yes, I do remember, but I wasn't like a competitive seller.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I couldn't see you being like
No,
that.
I think I did like.
Caitlin is very chill.
Yeah.
Which is what we love about you.
Yeah. Well, back to the kids fundraiser thing. I'm the worst at that kind of stuff.
Right. And it cost Birdie a pajama day.
It did. It did.
Do you remember the Samoas and the Thin Mints selling easier than the other ones, or is that going too far
just
back?
in my own family, I remember my dad always liked the tag-alongs.
Oh yeah.
So he would get like mad if we ate all the tag-alongs.
Those are good.
But Samoas are great. I don't know.
Amazing.
They're all good.
Natalie
They're all
Bomke,
good.
a little life hack from Bomke this morning. She advised, because you know how everyone puts Thin Mints, I mean a lot of people put Thin Mints in the freezer.
Sure.
That's a thing.
Yes.
Natalie puts Samoas in the microwave for 5 seconds. 5 seconds in the just a quick little in and out.
Yeah.
It kind of loosens it up.
Yeah.
Makes it a little like just more gooey.
Yeah.
Good.
I could see that. Sure.
Yeah.
Can we go on the line of s'mores? Have you do you have any tricks, hacks of making a s'more in your house?
No, not really. I mean, I obviously I like to grab the marshmallow because I don't like sticky stuff on my hands. It's a pet peeve of mine. So I like to grab the marshmallow off the steak using the cracker.
Oh.
So I'll pull it off. I'll kind of use the
a
graham
germaphobe?
cracker as a glove. I mean, a little bit.
That's what my husband would do, probably more about the germs.
Yeah, and then I add, and then once it's off, safely off the stick or the steak, then I add the Hershey bar.
Okay, but what about like if you don't have a fire? Do you ever make them in like the microwave or the oven?
No, I don't think I've ever made a s'more without a fire.
You could probably put it in like your toaster oven.
Do you do that?
Yeah, I've done it before, but my husband just microwaves it and it just gets melted. But
Really?
you need the toast.
Yeah, I like
Maybe
that
like
charred.
the air fryer would work better.
Yeah, that might.
You know?
Yeah.
You could put it in the toaster oven. Yum.
So anyway, get ready for Explore Mores. Here's another thing trending this morning. An Oregon duck dressed up as Labubu in a new viral video. I don't know if Brad can pull that up. I hear we have.
This is the duck boo-boo.
Footage. Okay.
If you will.
I am kind of, duck boo-boo. I'm kind of unfamiliar with the whole Labubu craze. This Oregon duck, though, dressed up like a Labubu, didn't miss a detail, from the furry long ears and sharp teeth to the hanging loop. A viral video shows the moment the University of Oregon's mascot ran on to the football field as fans cheered during the Oregon-Oklahoma State game on September 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the Labubu. I don't understand, why are they so popular?
I think it's like
Anything else?
Yeah, those little fads that kind of come and go back and let's see.
Like
what can I
Tamagotchis?
The only one I remember, Beanie Babies was the thing.
Beanie Babies.
When I was real little, those slap bracelets. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Okay. But Beanie Babies were cute. Slap bracelets are fun. Labubus are creepy. And I don't understand why. Why are we liking these Labubus? They've got a creepy smile. They're not like cute to look at or to snuggle with.
I don't know.
I've seen them on keychains. These kids, my daughter asked for one the other day.
If the right celebrity has one and is caught on camera at the right time in history, that is when trends are born.
Can we please come up with something?
Back in Chicago, when Dennis Rodman was at the height of his popularity, he put a Von Dutch hat on, a trucker hat. Those things were selling like hotcakes for like months and months after that.
Again, I get the hat
You know
thing,
what I mean?
but a Labubu is just like a stuffed animal that's creepy. I don't get it.
Everybody ponder that. All right.
I feel like there's a secret to this. Like maybe you said, maybe a celebrity had it.
At the right time?
Maybe like maybe Taylor Swift had it or something.
That would do it.
And then everybody likes it.
All right. We have a very special guest that is joining us via Zoom now to help all of us struggling parents through that evening routine. Yes. Can you hear us okay?
I can. Can you hear me?
Okay, we have Emily Weinstein from the New York Times cooking section to walk us through. Emily, I'm so excited about this weeknight 100 list. Okay, I was telling Caitlin a couple moments ago, I'm a two-trick pony. My wife tends to cook 3 nights, I'm 2, and my only go-tos are a very basic taco, you know, and then baked salmon. I can do. I've perfected that.
I mean, that's pretty impressive. Baked salmon
those
sounds
2.
easy.
You've got the Weeknight 100. Tell us what inspired this list.
Well, we're hoping to take you beyond the tacos and the salmon, although I love tacos and salmon. So I think you've got 2 of the 100 right there.
Excellent.
But it's just an acknowledgement of the fact that for a lot of people, January 1st is the first day of the new year, you know, on the calendar, but like September really is the beginning of the year, you know, sort of emotionally, logistically, especially if you have kids in school, you know, you're in school yourself, like you're kind of getting back to it. You're trying to find a new routine, and you're trying to reset after the summer where everything is like wonderful and a little lazy and the beach and hot dogs and whatever goes, right? So now we're back on the routine. We need ideas for dinner. Here we are at NYT Cooking with 100 recipes for you.
Okay, so
Amazing.
These recipes, please tell me you don't have to have like the most obscure seasoning.
Tarragon.
Right.
And, turmeric. And, yeah.
Yeah, all turmeric. You know, are they simple? Is it like a 5-ingredient recipe option?
They're all recipes that take, the vast majority take less than 40 minutes. There are a few that take a little longer just because you want to put the chicken in the oven and bake it, right? But none of them are going to call for like every ingredient in the house and, you know, more time than you could possibly have after work or at the end of the day. You know, the idea is to get you in and out of the kitchen as quickly as possible. And none of them call for obscure ingredients. Here or there, we'll say, hey, buy this spice, use this spice in these other recipes. We would hate for you to buy something that you never use again and that just collects dust. So the idea is to give everybody simple ideas and maybe introduce you to something you've never heard of before that's going to instantly make your cooking better with no extra effort from you.
Awesome. We're looking at some images right now of some of the highlights. These look unbelievable. That looks like either a fried chicken or some kind of tandoori. We have what look like dumplings on the screen right now. I'm not sure if you can see this along with us, Emily.
I can, yeah.
Run us through some of the highlights here that made the Weeknight 100.
So that chicken you're talking about is outrageous. Here's another chicken recipe actually with tomatoes. So that other chicken is crispy chicken with lime butter. So you're taking bone-in chicken thighs. We love bone-in chicken thighs because they're way more forgiving to cook. You know, chicken breasts are easy, they're nutritious, they're delicious.
They can dry out
really easy for them to get dry, right? Thighs, you do not have that problem. Way, way, way more forgiving. There they are again. So you're just searing them to get that delicious crispy skin, and you're adding some butter and lime to the skillet, and there you go. You have a dinner that makes you feel like a chef, and it just isn't any harder to make than any normal chicken breast recipe.
I need something that is like, so before we came to you, I was talking to Anthony about maybe like, sometimes families do like the 5 days of the week. You do a different like Italian dish or like a taco.
Mexican one.
Or and then pizzas on Fridays. Keep it simple. Would this be a good recipe book to divide and do those kind of ideas? Maybe like a chicken dish on Thursdays. What do you think?
Totally. I mean, it's broken down by sort of main ingredient, right?
Yes.
So it's broken down chicken. We have seafood, beef, pork, vegetarian. You get the drift. You could totally do it that way. You can mix and match. I'm a big believer in letting yourself off the hook of cooking a fresh recipe every night. You know, like make a dish that makes a lot of leftovers, put some in the freezer, pull something out, you know, make the chicken one night, use the leftover chicken to make quesadillas the next night. You know, my goal is for everybody to eat deliciously and easily, and to be easy on yourselves too.
I think all those things are amazing. Emily, is this the first year for the Weeknight 100, or is this something you guys do every year? I have personally not heard of it before.
We just started it 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So this is the 3rd installment, so we're picking up steam, but it was the inspiration for our We Had a Weeknight Dinner cookbook come out last year.
Nice,
and it was based off this sort of immediate warm reception to our first Weeknight 100, this idea of like, oh wait, people want this, you know? They need ideas. You know, just because you're busy shouldn't mean that you don't have something delicious to eat at the end of the day. You know, it's like you have a long day, it's a little sad to eat something a little sad from the fridge. Like, you deserve something great. And so we're excited that readers love it.
The recipes themselves, I just have to ask, do these all come from you guys at the Times, your editorial board, or do they come from actual, other chefs from around the country and around the world?
So the answer is actually both. Like all of these recipes, with I'd say probably one or two exceptions, come from our own recipe team here at the New York Times as part of New York Times Cooking, meaning we are engaging with chefs around the country to create these beautiful recipes, and we are publishing these recipes original to us. One or two probably come from cookbooks. I know they must be in there. We do publish those recipes. I can't even think of what they are off the top of our head. But the idea is we're drawing on people around the country and their brilliance, to help people and make these recipes. But you can find all of them on nytcooking.com.
Oh, you find them on the website. Can you
Got the app.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
If we have the app on our phone, is it available through that?
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Everywhere you find NYT cooking recipes, you can find
Is there one that's your
Amazing.
favorite?
Yeah.
What's your favorite one? Can you tell us?
Oh, gosh.
I know, putting
you on the spot.
That chicken, which is why I talk about it.
Wait, what was it?
That chicken,
really
yeah.
love that chicken.
The butter, what is it? Butter herb chicken? Butter?
It's the butter lime chicken. Oh, it is sublime.
That sounds delicious.
But I love all these recipes. I would never tell a reader about a recipe that I didn't think was great. I just wouldn't. I want everyone to love NYT cooking as much as we do.
It's very exciting.
Let's challenge ourselves, Caitlin, to do one of these.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll do that one.
And report back.
I'm scared with chicken,
You have to let me know how it goes.
We will. I think this is really great because I have been struggling with these two. It's just, it gets a little boring and I can tell my wife is less than impressed. Well, she appreciates the effort, but at the same time.
Yeah, with chicken, I always cook it too much. I cook it because I'm scared of undercooking it. So it's an interesting challenge for me.
Oh man, you have to find that Goldilocks. So wait, Emily, before we let you go, what are those right there? Those little dumpling things.
Those green things? Were they egg soufflés?
They look like dumplings, but actually, that's a brilliant recipe from Dan Pelosi's wonderful writer. They are pesto chicken meatballs. So you're using chicken you just buy it at the supermarket, and you're mixing in pesto, and that helps them stay like moist and flavorful and delicious. The problem with using chicken and meatballs, it's like a little leaner than pork or beef, so you don't get as much flavor. They dry out. Pesto is the brilliant fix to solve that problem, and you can just use pesto you buy at the supermarket too.
We've got
basil. We've got basil in our
Look at
garden. Do you have basil? Because I know you've got.
I don't have veggies.
We can pick it fresh. Oh man, maybe that's. How about I do that one?
Okay.
And you do the butter lime chicken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're making a pact back on our end. Emily Weinstein with NYT Cooking. Thank you so very much.
Have a great day.
For expanding our horizons.
Thanks for inviting me on.
Yeah,
Happy cooking.
Come back sometime.
It's funny
with
that
the Weekend 100.
When we had, this is very timely because literally yesterday I made dinner, and when I say this is like a weird experience, I told you guys we're fly by the seat of our pants in my house. So usually it's like I come home, I eat something, and then my kids come home and then they eat something. Yesterday I made a meal because I wasn't even hungry, but I was like, I gotta make a dinner for my family.
And like the whole sit down thing.
Well, we didn't do the sit down thing, but I did create a meal, and they liked it. So I want to get on some sort of routine, like cooking routine, because I'm with you about like going back to school. You get back on the schedule.
We find that it helps
because in the summer you're outside all day, all night, and then you don't have time to like. Who wants to sit in the kitchen all day?
That's true.
After work, I want to get some sun on my face. With my sunblock.
With your sunblock, 30 SPF or higher, along with retinol and some moisturizer.
Acid.
Twice a day.
Hydro something acid on your face too.
She was a wealth of knowledge. I love her.
Great,
okay, we're going to take a quick break here on Chicago Now. More trending stories when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you weren't here at the top of the show, Mike Kaplan had Caitlin actually go into the About section of her phone under settings to figure out what kind of phone you have and what year it's from. So let's get an update.
I already forgot.
13.
I told you.
I remember better than you. She's got a 13.
I've got a mom brain.
Okay, and the reason we're bringing this up is because Apple has announced the iPhone Air, iPhone 17, and new wearables, as they're called. I'm guessing that's the Apple Watch.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so here we go. I'm going to run through the new lineup here. iPhone 17. Apple's new iPhone has a faster new chip, better scratch resistance, a smoother screen, and comes in new colors. The Pro version has a new design, a better zoom camera, and a bigger battery. Okay, so those are the highlights. And also the iPhone Air, that one in the middle, right there, it is like 10.5 millimeters, I want to say.
Less than 1/4 of an inch?
Yeah, it's insanely thin.
Nobody's going to pick that one.
I don't know why.
It has a worse battery, worse camera.
I don't need a thinner, like I need thick, like I have this tough
cover on
case because, can you imagine dropping that thing?
No.
I mean.
Actually, I don't have, I'm being fancy right now. I don't have a case on my phone right now.
Is that normal for you? That is anxiety inducing for me.
Listen to me.
To see that.
My phone did not wake me up the other week.
I remember.
I'm being honest with you guys on TV. For the first time in my life, I missed my alarm, and it was a very important alarm. And so after that, I was really mad at my phone. I was like, Grady, I need a new phone. That's it. But to be fair, it did get dipped in some yogurt or something, so like the crusts were kind of blocking the speaker, here.
Ooh.
But like, so I took my case off and I really dug in there and tried to clear out my speaker.
Did you use a safety pin? Did you do that?
I used a hairbrush, but I was gonna try like a toothbrush.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever I had to do.
Safety pin, because you can clear out, because lint can back that up too.
Okay. Yeah. So I took it off to clean it, but then I never put it back on because I kind of just want a new one because this phone did me wrong when it didn't wake me up. So I'm mad at this phone and I want to get a new one. But you know what I'm hoping,
Caitlin,
Anthony? I don't want the 17. I don't need that. I want the 16.
The 16.
So like maybe the 16s could go on sale now that the 17s are out.
Oh, there you go. That's a really good strategy. Now, the watch, okay, we're calling these wearables, I guess. The new Apple Watch will be able to alert users to possible high blood pressure. These things are getting so fancy. I mean, they track your steps and everything like that. I mean, they track your sleep. And then the AirPods Pro 3. I'm not a fan of the AirPods, by the way. You lose them really easily. I don't find that they're as loud.
Exactly. I can hardly even hear what those
And the other thing about the AirPods, they've got these little rubber extensions on them that really go down. Feels like they go down really deep into your ear canal.
Oh.
And I feel like I'm separate from the world. I feel like pressure.
Oh, don't like that.
Like head pressure. And so I like the old school. In fact, I just ordered a new pair of just the wired.
Me too. I literally
like the wired ones better.
You don't lose it then.
Yeah.
In one piece. You don't have to charge it.
These as well, the AirPods heart rate sensing on. I wonder if you have a pulse in your ear.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know, yeah.
But it's weird.
Obviously, you can have your pulse.
But you know what makes me mad about Apple is I wonder if they're changing like the port again because my husband and I, we have different phones. So like Grady has the newer one.
You've got the USB-C.
We can't.
Same deal with Maggie and me.
So she's got the newer one.
Can they just please decide on a single one and make it standard throughout the world?
Yeah. You know, the cars these days don't even have typical charge ports. They don't have USB plugs. It's like the new version of the plug where it's like that little circle. Why? Why are they doing this to us? Also, I think my phone too, by the way, is starting to get rid of the names on my contacts. Like I've been having to add in the names again on my Mark Strell, for example. You guys know Marky Mark. Texted me the other day.
I've had that
like,
too.
Wait, why is his name gone?
Exactly.
What are you doing to
texted
me,
him for
Apple?
years and all of a sudden it's gone. I've been there too.
They do it to you,
Caitlin,
so you get the
are
new
preaching
phone.
to the choir. All right, next up, before we go, Cracker Barrel, in case you missed the news this morning, has suspended. Not only have they reverted back to the existing logo before changing it, none of the restaurant renovations that they had announced are actually going to happen. Okay, this was, I feel like this was one of those unified outrage campaigns against, no?
No, I think you're right.
Yeah, I didn't hear one person, everyone was trying to be like, oh, it's the woke people that.
Listen.
I didn't hear one person that was in favor of
They
this.
are so mean about that.
Yeah.
From what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess I saw all over the news about the CEO getting in trouble, this woman, and she got let go from what I understand.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think. I'll have to double check this. But in this post that I saw, they were really rude to her about this
the corporation or just the internet outrage?
I think the corporation.
Okay.
And
you expect that from the internet. I mean, they're going to go up in arms. I don't know if we have any images of
People make
the logo was kind of, it was like, wait, what?
Did you have strong feelings about it?
I didn't have like strong feelings. I'm not going to rant about it online, but when I saw that new logo where they just basically changed the font a little bit and then got rid of everything that made it unique, I was like a little, I mean, how much did you guys pay for that new redesign?
Oh, it was called Pitiful and Bland.
So here was the statement from Cracker Barrel. Quote, you have shared your voices in recent weeks, not just on our logo, but also on our restaurants. If your restaurant hasn't been remodeled, you don't need to worry. It won't be. So I guess they were going for a more minimalist and lighter design, removing the dark woods, the tchotchkes. And this was only tested at 4 out of their 660 locations, and it was an 0 for 4. It was a good thing they didn't adjust the other 656.
It's a big budget for this.
Literally not one person wanted this.
I don't care that much.
No,
if the food's the same, I mean.
You don't care? I do. I think it's about
the ambiance,
atmosphere, yeah.
the whole thing. Maybe
in fact, the last time I went to Cracker Barrel was off of exit 255 on I-65 in your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
And not the Merrillville exit, but I want to say the one before that.
Okay.
Before, I don't know if you know what
I'm right. I know exactly what you're talking about. You're literally in my neighborhood.
Okay. Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. It's a good. I mean, I haven't been there in a very, very long time, but there were very strong feelings about this.
Very strong feelings.
I mean, they saved some money by not doing it.
You would think, but who knows how much they spent on the advertising campaign, the remodel campaign itself.
Yeah. Do we have that number here? I think we had it on the show this morning. It was like, I'm not going to take a.
Oh man, their stock went down 12%. Okay.
Oh, I see that, yeah.
They course corrected. Fear not, America. Cracker Barrel is here to stay as is. All right, it's 10:57. We are going to swap out.
Wait. Wasn't there like a funny video we were supposed to see?
Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on.
Was it the
yes,
cake?
yes, the birthday cake story. This is going viral. Do we have time for it, guys? Yeah. Okay. You go into the grocery. Oh my gosh. You pay for a custom design. Oh.
Yes. Luckily, this is.
Oh, the poor person. You know what? My heart immediately goes out to the employees. So the kid behind the counter, who you know is probably making like right above minimum wage, said to the customer, "Sorry, I did my best." When the cake was picked up, this went viral. 14.9 million people have witnessed the employees' decorating skills so far. 14,900 comments. The TikTok user is asked to remain anonymous.
I love it. I want my cake to look like that.
I love it too. I actually think it's endearing.
Did I tell you the story about when my friends got engaged and it said congratulations on the cake, and she goes, yeah, but they spelled congratulations wrong because they put a T in it. I think I told you that story.
There is a T in congratulations.
Exactly. That's the funny part. Oh. So then everybody just laughed at her. I think I have it on camera. I was like, yeah, it's a cute cake, but they spelled congratulations with the T. Okay.
I'm glad we squeezed in the cake story before the end of the hour. We're back with more Chicago Now right after this.
Fox Local. Welcome back to the second hour of Chicago Now. I'm Tia Ewing. You already know him. He was already here. This is Anthony Ponce.
Riding shotgun.
Riding
for the 11 a.m.
I don't want to say it. Let's go with passenger prince.
Ah, okay.
That's what you are right now. Yeah, you know, they have a thing called passenger princess.
So
where
regal.
you just, you know, the woman, you let your man drive and you just kind of kick back and do your thing. You'll be the passenger prince this morning. So we have a lot coming up on the show. We have, of course, you've probably seen them right on Fox Local. They have their own show, Second Opinion. We're going to be talking with the twin doctors. I find their story really to just be amazing. Two brothers, they're twins, both doctors. That's incredible in its own right. They're going to join us live on the show. And then later, have you noticed with your electricity bill that it's gone up?
Yeah.
What in the world is going on?
Everything is going up.
Everything.
And then, you know, I'm a big air conditioning guy.
I am
okay?
too.
I like it cool. If it were up to me, we'd be in the high 60s at my house on the thermostat. Yes. Now, that doesn't go over well all the time. But anyway, yes, high electricity bills are very familiar territory for me.
Are you the person paying the bill?
We are both, yes.
Paying the bill. Okay, well, I guess you could keep it at whatever temperature you want.
Well,
if ultimately you're shouldering the bill. Well, apparently across the country, people are seeing their bills, especially really in our state, up 6%. So we're going to be talking about that. But first, we got to talk about what's trending. I want to apologize now because if they go to a single shot on me, my whole mouth is blue.
Did you just drink something?
I decided to add this flavor to my water. I don't like bland water.
Oh.
So I felt like I needed some flavor in the water and it was blue. And I didn't expect to have look like I had, you know, Now Laters or Laffy Taffy all day. But yeah, I brushed and everything. It's some serious dye. I can't get it out of my teeth. So I'm shining a little blue today. Okay, we got to talk about this. Have you ever watched the show, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? A lot of scandal on this show. I've watched it before. Yeah, a lot of scandal, a lot of drama, and anybody that's watched it, you may remember the name, and it may sound familiar to you. Taylor Frankie Paul. She's 31. She was also known as Mom TikTok. There was a scandal on the show about were they swingers? I think there was a miscarriage, and then she broke up with Dakota, who I believe that was considered to be her husband on the show, if I'm not mistaken. And now she's going to be the new Bachelorette. So people are talking about it, which premieres in 2026.
So she went from Mormon wife to now being the Bachelorette.
Yes.
Only in America, guys.
But you know what? I feel like with these reality shows, they pick people with these kind of storylines because it draws you in and makes you want to watch, right? Because now that you've heard all of that, or even if you know who she is, you're more apt to watch.
I'm already invested,
Tia. And you want to watch?
I'm already invested.
I want to watch it too. I want to see what happens on the show. And I think, you know, as we watch, do you watch any reality TV?
No, I actually don't.
Okay, I watch a lot of reality TV, especially the ones with a lot of the ladies, I always say it on the show, the Real Housewives series. I love those because I watch it. I like to see the fashion. You know, they're wearing $20,000 coats.
Right.
I'm never going to buy a $20,000 coat. So
you can live vicariously.
Yeah, it's just cool to watch. So I think that a lot of these ladies that they're picking now have storylines that have played out in social media specifically, or they have a huge social media following, and they believe that will carry over to the show to get the ratings up. So I think you're reading some more, and you're like, whoa, your mouth is open.
That it got an Emmy.
Oh, what?
It got an Emmy
The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives got an Emmy?
That's what it says.
Wow. Yeah. The Hulu reality show recently earned its first Emmy.
You know what? It's one of those things where the topic is one thing, but the editing and the storytelling and the narrative, you know, so these things are, I think one of the reasons they're so addictive for a lot of people is that the storytelling teams that are editing these things down, they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing.
They really do.
And I also think that, let's be honest, they say it's reality, but is it really? That stuff is staged. You know, when they know you don't like so-and-so, and all of a sudden you're having lunch with your mom, and so-and-so walks in, they clearly have staged.
It's like, okay, you watch more reality TV than I do. If there was a pie chart, 2 categories on the pie chart, staged versus real, how would you break that down in terms of percentage? Is it like 80% staged and the last 20 is real, 90-10, 50-50? What would you say?
I would say when it first started, maybe it was more 80% real, 20% faux. But I think now it's probably more 60% real, 40% fake. So that's kind of where I lean. Like, for example, The Real Housewives of Atlanta, I know you've never watched it, but when it first came out, there was a television station that went back to see where, I don't know if they did it with every character, but I know they did it with the main character, to see that they really live in that home. Because, you know, they show this big, huge house, and they went back, and the home was a rental. So that's what I'm saying. Like, some of this stuff is fake, you know.
And that example you just brought up, where you're out to dinner with your mother-in-law and so-and-so walks by, is it one of those things where they stage the entire so-and-so walks by, but then what unfolds after that, that's all authentic?
You know, I think they probably know that you're going to have lunch with mom or your mother-in-law, and they know you don't like, let's give a name, Linda, and Linda walks in. I think you have no idea Linda's coming.
Okay.
So I think
so
you
that
as one of the
authentic.
castmates,
Okay.
I think that is that is an authentic experience, but they knew. Production had to know Linda was walking in, because Linda has a microphone. Linda has on makeup, you know, so I mean, I think they know that part, and I think what happens after that is probably organic. I do think there are times where maybe that salacious confrontation didn't go the way that they thought, and so they're like, wait, stop. Leave everything where it is. Let's do it over. Because I remember, I think it was one of, what was her name? Luann. That we had on the show. She was on Real Housewives of New York, and she told us that there were times, I thought she said that they said stop, but she didn't explain more. But I think they have you kind of pause in place so they could then pick up, you know, whatever that they're filming. And if you watch these shows, what's interesting, because it is like filmed in parts but still happening at the same time, you'll notice the drink is getting lower and lower. You know, it started off like they start off arguing with the
viewer
with the full class, and now it's halfway
full. There's a jump cut, and it's down to there.
You're like, what happened?
Interesting.
So yeah, I am a fan of reality TV. So
another thing making waves today, Ariana Grande.
Yeah, I think it's the ticket prices. She's going on tour, and I really think the ticket prices is what really stunned me. She's going to kick off her tour June of 2026. Do you like Ariana Grande?
You know what? I don't know. I didn't know a thing about Ariana Grande until
Pete Davidson, or
no, when Wicked. Pete Davidson. I did read about that. I did read about that. But we loved Wicked in our house. I
loved Wicked.
It was so good, and
it was wicked good.
You know, good call.
I couldn't.
But I knew she's got talent.
Yeah,
of course, right? But like, I had never seen her perform until I actually saw her performance in that movie, and I thought it was fantastic. I thought she was so good.
I thought she was good. I always knew she was good, but then she performed, I believe it was at the funeral of Aretha Franklin. And I was like, oh my goodness. And this little body is this huge voice. And I was always a fan of her perfume line. She has a perfume line that is really like whimsical smells and whatnot. And so I was always a fan of that. And then I got more into her music. The girl is talented. Very talented.
And this is reflected in her ticket prices,
I guess. So these tickets are going from anywhere as low as, and I don't consider this low at all, $580 to $10,000. I'm guessing, now listen, I haven't looked this part up about the $10,000, but I'm guessing that's a fan experience.
Yeah.
I would guess that you're like really close to the stage. Maybe you get some swag with that. I know a lot of artists are doing that, but come on, I'm wondering, is this what happens after it hits the market? And then, you know, people put it on the secondary market.
Unbelievable. That
is a lot. The average person can't go to her show.
Because StubHub is the one listing those. So Ticketmaster is one thing. StubHub is the resales.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
But it looks like Chicago made the list.
It's on the list. August 3rd and August 5th of next summer. I'll be there, but if I get there.
Will you be there?
If I would love to go.
Your husband.
But I'm not paying that.
Likes to
surprise. But don't surprise me by spending this kind of money. This is ridiculous. No, seriously, if I can't get a ticket for at least, I mean, I guess the average tickets now are what, $200 for some of these artists?
Yeah.
On the low end, which is still high.
End, for sure.
If I can't get a ticket at that price, I won't be there. Maybe I'll stand outside of the stadium to watch.
Yeah, I have been mouth on the floor, like jaw on the floor for ticket prices for all kinds of live events.
Yeah.
You know, Theo, my oldest, but he's 9, huge Bears fan, and you know, I really do feel like for the fam to go out and watch the game. I mean, that's not a 3-digit experience.
It's a lot of money.
There's no chance you're taking a family to the Bears game and back with the whole parking, tickets, food, and everything. That's not in the 3 digits. That is well into the 4 digits.
It is.
If you're going to do the whole thing a day, and think about that.
That's a lot of money,
Yeah.
and you're already paying at the grocery store.
Yeah.
We just told you about your electricity bill. So I mean, yeah, when do you get a break? And at $580, can you even go with somebody else? I mean,
there you go.
Probably not. So yeah.
How much do you like Ariana Grande?
I like her, but I don't know if I like her.
Another hot ticket to talk about as well, the FIFA World Cup.
Yes.
2026, it's already here. You know, it's nice that there's a kind of a rotation between the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, the Summer Games, and then the World Cup. These things that come around every 4 years. So there's something like every year. Next year, World Cup's going to be the largest in history, 16 different cities.
This is impressive, but I'm not surprised because there are so many soccer fans or football fans all across the world. Yes, all across the world. So I don't think I'm surprised by this. I think it's a sport that has expanded. Your mouth is open, so tell me what you see.
Because I'm looking. Okay, the reason my jaw hit the floor there is because for the final game, and now I'm realizing final match, that's $6,700, and actually compared to Ariana Grande, that's a bargain. Earlier tournament, like early round matches, $60. Hey, now we're in range of what a ticket for a live event should talk to. Group stage, $60. That's doable.
Yeah.
That's doable.
That's doable with multiple people.
I wonder though if, because years ago, and we're talking early 90s, you probably weren't even born yet, T.
I was born.
It's just a child.
I'm an old lady.
No. But 94, I want to say, Soldier Field. There were a couple games in the U.S., and I remember Soldier Field made the list, a very big deal. I wonder if, I probably would have heard about it by now, being in the news and all, but so I'm seeing New Jersey. The final match is going to be at MetLife Stadium in Jersey. Do we have, I wonder if we could Google real quick whether Chicago's on the list of cities, because it's 16
Here's what's interesting, though. If you don't want to pay the prices, we got you covered. The World Cup will air on Fox. So that's a plus, right? Like, if you don't have the money, don't worry, we'll cover it on Fox.
We did a survey, the Mega Poll, the other day on the morning show before your shift. Was where's your favorite place? Where is your favorite place to watch the Bears?
And what did people?
Couch was like 81% said the couch, and I'm in that. I like to zone in, get my food, get my beverages, and like really lock into the game. So I'll be watching on Fox.
Well, I understand that because part of the thrill, I guess, of watching at home too is they show you the replays.
Right.
So like you're talking to so and so next to you, the next thing you know, you missed the play at home. You can watch it in live action. It's over.
It's gone.
You know?
You can see some of it on the Jumbotron.
On the Jumbotron,
I was saying though, I get so much more nervous when I'm watching it on the couch on TV, and I can hear the commentators and watch those replays and see the, like, you know, those close-up replays where you're like, was his foot on the line or not?
Yeah.
Whereas in person, there's so much stimulus that I don't even, I have a hard time zeroing in on the game itself.
What did you think about the Bears? Speaking of the Bears.
Oh man. I'm going to stay kind of cautiously optimistic. I was kind of in the they're going to go 9-8 camp on the year, and which I think is kind of cautiously optimistic. Now I'm like, okay, it's going to be 8-9. They're going to go 8-9. That's what about you?
I was going to say they may lose four. I was being very optimistic.
You are.
I was going to say 4 games. I was going to say 4 games.
That would be a
but now I don't know.
Season.
Yeah, I don't know now. I should probably take that back. So yeah. Okay, we got to talk about Hilary Duff. We haven't heard this name, I don't think in a while, at least when it comes to music. She's going back to music. This is after 10 years. She revealed on September 9th that she was returning to music for the first time in an entire decade. We know her as acting. I do remember her just a little bit of singing. But I guess if you're multi-talented like that, you may as well.
Some people hog all the talent.
Yeah, they do, like you, Anthony Ponce.
Not true.
You're into music too?
Not true. You're using that word generously.
It's true though.
Generously. I mean, my parents, yes, they made us take piano through high school. Tia, I heard you singing live. Decent. How often do you bust out into song on this show? Because I was co-hosting with you the other day, and it was beautiful.
I don't know. I mean, every now and then, but I bust out in song every day. Every day. I think some things in life make you want to sing. Either for good reasons or bad reasons. And maybe that's what Hilary Duff is.
On the wall in your car on the way home.
Oh man, I've been talking to all the drivers that are driving me crazy. So what's interesting is she has signed with Atlantic Records. That's a big deal, and will release a new docuseries because that's what dreams are made of. And this is directed by Sam Wrench. I'm really interested to see when this album that she's going to make will come out. And I don't know, like. I'm not being mean when I ask this question, but it seems like a lot of the artists from when we were younger are coming back to do stuff, And some of them, it's not always gravitated towards. Some of them.
Yeah. It can be hit or miss.
Yeah, it can be hit or miss.
Unless you're Taylor Swift and Beyonce.
Yeah,
and
like those people, right.
In that case, it's just like, let's print some, should we go print some more money?
Yeah, that's what
print some more money?
Right, and people shell out the cost for the tickets. And
yeah, so start saving up. You got Hillary Duff, Ariana Grande, the World Cup. The list goes on.
Yeah, and you can watch The Bachelorette for free.
Yeah,
so you got that covered. All right, we are talking to the twin docs.
I'm excited.
We'll have them. Yeah, I am too. Right after this break. Stay with us.
Leaf Girl. And now for the main topic, ink under the skin, the surprising health risks and benefits of tattoos. And to discuss, we've got an amazing dermatologist with us, Dr. Eddie DeYoung. Eddie DeYoung, you were not saying Eddie DeYoung, Kaminska. Thank you. Okay, Kaminska Dermatology. She is a board-certified dermatologist and a Castle & Connolly top doc. Now, just some general stats first, guys. People are tatted in this country. 1 in 3 people have tattoos, like myself, like Dr. Rai. He's tatted from stem to stern, including my stem and my stern. Okay, all right. And then 22% of people have multiple tattoos, so tattoos are everywhere. So we figured, we're doctors, why not talk about the health risks and benefits of tattoos? So, let's do it. Let's do it. All right, so tattoos are generally considered to be safe, I would hope, but there are some risks associated, like the risk of infection. How risky is getting a tattoo when it comes to an infection?
Well, you know, as with anything of the skin, we have bacteria that lives on our skin. And so when you are needling the skin with the tattoo needle, you can introduce that bacteria into the skin and it increases the risk of a bacterial infection such as staphylococcus. That's one of the common organisms that live on our skin. It is a natural organism, it's supposed to be there, but when it gets into the skin, it can cause problems.
Vulgar. So what would you recommend people do then? Like, sorry, that's Coach Off. I want to ask one. What about bigger infections like HIV, hepatitis B, C, things like that?
So what a great question. There have not been any documented cases of HIV with tattoo needling. So the risk is significantly low. It's theoretical, but it still exists, right? So tattoo contains, when you're tattooing the skin, you have blood. And if you are tattooing with a dirty needle, so it's very important where you go to get your tattoo.
So no prison tattoos. No, we are in prison, I guess.
Prison.
Right.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's a little preview of what's to come.
Yeah.
Say hello, everybody. It's
Yes.
Dr. J and Dr. I, the co-hosts of Second Opinion, which is going to premiere on Fox Local on September 15th. This is exciting.
It is exciting, yeah.
Tell us your story, because you're both from Chicago.
Both from Chicago.
Twins.
Twins.
Clearly, yes. He copied my face.
Yeah, right. Twin. I came first, so I say he copied my face and everything.
I perfected it.
Yeah, there you go. But no, born and raised in Chicago, South Side in Hyde Park. Chicago public schools our entire life. William H. Ray Elementary School, Kenwood High School. There you go. UIC for undergrad, Rush for med school, and
Cook County, Mount Sinai for residency. We haven't left. Chicago's got a hold on us.
Great.
Yeah.
It's great. Okay, so you guys have kind of had these parallel lives, parallel careers.
Yeah.
You're both OBG.
Yes, we are.
Right?
Yeah.
To this day, practicing in the northern suburbs.
Yeah.
Tell us how the show, Second Opinion, how did all this kind of come about?
oh gosh, that's a great question. So I think it started, we used to do Windy City Live, and we would do this fact or fiction segment on Windy City Live, and then from there we started to do something very similar on News Nation, and then we would come on Sylvia Perez's show quite a bit, and so I think that's kind of how we got on Fox's radar, and then they reached out and we said we'd love to do it, and here we are.
What will people see when they tune in? Because obviously, when I look at you both, sometimes when you look at people, you're like, they look like they could be this.
Right.
You look like you would be doctors, but you don't.
Do we?
You do.
I was going to say, what do we look like we would be? I thought she was going to say something like really like
doctors.
Model.
You could be model-less doctors.
And models.
But you definitely look like you would be doctors, but you look like not the traditional doctor. And what I mean by that is a lot of fun, a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Sometimes, when you interview a doctor, it could be a dry situation. I don't get that from you. What will we see on the show?
I think that's the point. I mean, medicine is important, right? Like, we all have human bodies, we want to be well, but we want to kind of bring a little bit of levity to it. And because I think, honestly, hell, I'm a doctor, and when I'm talking to my doctor, sometimes I'm like, come on, wrap it up. So people don't necessarily get the point. But I think if you kind of coat it with some humor and just make it relatable, people will get it. That's kind of our goal.
Yeah.
Right.
What kinds of topics are you? Is it basically anything and everything?
Anything and everything. Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about being OBGYNs is we're like the primary care doctor. You're like, I bet you. You don't know what I'm going to say. No. The cool thing about being OBGYNs is one of the things you do is you're like the primary care doctor for females, right? So you have to know a little bit about everything. It's not just like the gynecologic surgery or the OB where you manage pregnancies. You need to know a little bit about everything. And so we deal with a little bit of everything. And we know specialists who deal with a little bit of everything. So we literally cover any and every topic. And normally we try and focus on things that are kind of in the news or things that we wish people did know but don't know, or things that we have patients that will kind of tell us at the end of their exam, like, hey, I wanted to talk about this, but I was a little bit uncomfortable. Things like that people we know want to know more about but aren't necessarily. Exactly.
You finish each other's sentences, which is pretty incredible. But seriously, here's a question for you, because most twins, right, they don't want to be like the other person. They want their own identity. What made you kind of stick together on the same trajectory of medicine?
The thing is, as annoying as he can be sometimes, I trust him. I trust him implicitly.
Annoying.
So he can be very annoying. You'll see. But I trust him implicitly. And so I felt it's kind of like working with your best friend. It's kind of like working with your spouse, but not quite. But honestly, I decided I wanted to go into medicine first.
He did.
And I did. And we were going for it was orientation at the first day of college. And you meet with your advisor. And she was like, what are you going to do? I said, medicine. And she was like, what do you want to do? He said, social work. And she was like, it's going to make a lot more money than you.
No, first she said very earnestly, that's really good of you. Then she said, but you do know your brother's going to make quite a bit more money than you are. And I said, pre-med. Yeah, and that was it, yeah.
It's about the money, because trust me, that's not the case.
No.
Yeah, and we just kind of followed each other ever since. I decided I wanted to do OB. He was like, I'm thinking OB or med peds.
Yeah.
And the way the match works, you just find out what you're going to do on the day of. And so you find out he was doing OB. And then after that, I was like, well, if we're both doing OB, let's do this together.
I always thought, going into medicine, you obviously at some point have to declare a specialty, right? You have to kind of zero it in. And one of the great things about what T and I do is we get to know a little bit about a lot of things. So it strikes me that doing a show like this, you get to at least explore and talk to other experts in other fields, right?
Yeah.
Are there any, outside of OBGYN, fields of medicine where each of you are particularly interested to kind of dive more into that realm? Maybe
100%.
each of you could give
For me, it was gastroenterology.
Okay.
So actually, we had a gastroenterologist on, and there is a lot of research now that's showing that basically gut health is body health, right? And so we were talking to this GI doc, and he was just breaking it down, like how having a healthy gut means having a healthy heart, and a healthy brain, and a healthy immune system, and improved fertility. And I said, my God, like it was so interesting, and the hour went so quickly, and I was like, I want to do this again, you know? So for me, it's GI. I think that truly if you have a healthy gut, the rest follows.
How about you?
For me, it's more preventative medicine. You know, I think that, what do they say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Like, I think that's truly the case. And a lot of our illnesses are somewhat self-imposed, but I think it's because we just don't know how to prevent them. And so while I'm not trying to put doctors out of business, because I got 5 kids and a mortgage and loans and all that stuff, I think that if people know how to prevent illness, we'll be a much healthier population. So I think the answers are there. We just don't know them. So.
Okay, so I'm the wild card on this show. I always ask the crazy question. So, random question: do you live on the same block? Like, how far away do you guys
live? A wild card. I can't wait for this question.
We do not live on the same block, but we live relatively close to one another.
What, about 5 minutes?
About 15 minutes. About 15 minutes away.
But up until like a year or two ago, he had a room in my house. So
I
sometimes
did.
like 2 in the morning, I hear the door.
I did.
What?
Well, so his house is very close to the hospital, and so a lot of times, especially in the wintertime, you're on call. You don't want to drive in the snow, and so I just was crashing in his, not in his basement, but in his little guest room.
My mom's in the basement. She'll be like, "Oh, your brother's here." I'm like, "Okay."
Let me ask you this: what is the craziest prank or something that you've played on people, maybe in your younger days, by you both being twins?
Oh God, this is on TV. We gotta keep.
You can tell the truth.
Yeah, he's like going through different answers. Yeah. Should we do the R-rated one?
Does the statute of limitations pass?
I know. Yeah, right.
There you go.
I don't know if this was crazy, but in college, I was horrible with my Spanish. It just came very naturally to him. And so we were doing a Spanish class, and he was doing much better than I was, so we had to do oral exams. I said, I'm not going to pass this, Idris. You know, and I said, go do it for me. He went in, he did it. He nailed it. I saw the I saw the teacher the next day, and she pulled me aside. She said, I know that was not you. I know it wasn't. Whoa. She said, I cannot prove it, but I know that wasn't you. Don't do it again. I didn't cop to it. I didn't say yay or nay, but I didn't do it again.
It's like out of a movie.
I know.
It's like out of a movie.
I passed, and for that I say thank you, sir.
You are so welcome.
Yes, nice job.
Nice work. Gracias.
Is this the first time you're telling that story?
On TV, yes.
Okay.
That's hilarious. I have a random one.
Go ahead.
It might not be as random as Tia's, but we hear in the non-twin community, we do hear about a psychological connection. Okay. I wonder if you guys have any stories where it's like you were on the other side of the world or on the other side of the country, something happens, but you knew, or anything like that.
So actually, yes. So like we do have this mental like connection. So like when he's sick, even if I'm not there, I'll tell my mom like, I don't think he's feeling well, and she'll call, and sure enough, he's sick, you know? Or if he's just kind of down, like I can tell when he's down. And so like there's not a specific thing like, oh, he stubbed his toe. But like when he's not doing well, I'm like, I know he's not doing well.
You just kind of know. It's in your gut.
It's in my gut. It's in my gut. I'm like, I know he's not well. Something's going on, and I'll call him, and we'll talk about it. He'll start crying or whatever. He does sometimes. He does.
I'm a crier.
How about you? Would you echo that?
Oh, 100%, 100%. And I think also I oftentimes know what he's thinking or what he's going to say.
So you think?
So I think, yeah. And I will tell you, that mind's a deep, dark place.
I know, don't go.
No, but truly I do. And I tend to think, like, I was thinking, like, why is this? And my thought process was, I think it's like all related to epigenetics. Like, you know how we all have these genes that get turned on and get turned off depending on certain circumstances. And like our environment's always been the same from the womb, basically.
Like the same person.
Yeah, and so I feel like we have a lot of the same genes that are turned on and turned off. And so I think our perception's very similar.
So that's kind of a scientific explanation for something that might seem metaphysical to a lot of us late.
I think it's both. I think it's both, to be honest.
Well, it could very well be. It's just like, you know, people make the joke all of the time that black people are afraid of water, right?
Right.
And, which we are, by the way. I don't know. So we were on The Amazing Race like 10 years ago. Yeah. And we literally, we were. And we literally got bounced off because we wouldn't jump into the water.
He would not jump into the water. I did.
We wouldn't jump into the water.
Not willingly, but I finally did.
And people killed us for that. And I was like, why were we so afraid to get into the water? So anyway, I ramble. But, you know, epigenetically, there's this thought that black people are afraid of getting into water because of the Great Passage and the fact that a lot of the black people who survived the Great Passage were the ones who made the journey, but they saw the people who didn't survive get thrown over. And they think that epigenetically that turned on certain genes that have made us afraid of water.
Right.
So yeah, I do think that epigenetically we share this connection, and
that's
yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
What is like your go-to when you're not working? Like, what do you do when you're
Not working? What is that? Exactly. Honestly, traveling. Like, you know, if you see me anywhere that's not here, it's going to be at the airport. I'm getting on a plane. I'm going somewhere for a weekend, for a week. I like to go.
You guys have a connection to a tropical place.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So we have a practice in St. Croix, which is in the Virgin Islands. And so we do the same thing here that we do down there, OBGYN, but we do it on the beach. So, you know, it's a little
kind of nice.
What makes
it's
you go
very
there?
nice. Actually, a friend told us about it. They had a need on the island, and so we went just doing some locums work, like just helping out. And then they're like, "Hey, we've got this practice. You want to step in?" And I said, "It's January, and it's negative 20 in Chicago." I sure do. And, and there you go.
Let's hear about the planning for the show itself in terms of episodes and content, mapping this thing out. You mentioned that you're kind of going to focus on things that maybe are in the news, but what's the status right now? Do you have, like, you know, multiple show topics in the can, or what's the status there?
So we've already got 10 episodes in the can, and so we've covered from, like I said, things related to GI health, to dental health, to health risks and benefits of tattoos, to whether or not chiropractic manipulation is safe and effective. I mean, it's just been all over the map. And I actually went to a chiropractor for the first time in preparation for this, which was quite, it was an interesting experience. I was kind of, I wasn't sure whether or not I thought it was legit or not. Afterwards, I tend to think so.
Really?
Yeah, you know.
Some of them, they're on social media and they're showing you all this stuff, and it looks really like extreme. So I could get why.
And they're controversial because you hear about it. I don't want to say pseudoscience, but there are people. I've heard the phrase with chiropractors, a lot of times it's a Band-Aid solution for more of a structural problem, and you know, really to solve these musculoskeletal issues, it's physical therapy and not just going for a quick fix.
Honestly, I think it's multifactorial. So I'd heard that as well. Like, it's kind of like getting a massage when you're sore. It's going to feel better for a little while, but then the pain comes back. But honestly, I think that is a chiropractor going to take care of it all? No. But I think as part of a comprehensive plan, I think it does actually help. I do.
And the chiropractor we met with said that. He said, I don't just do it alone. I work with physical therapists. I work with internists. So yeah, I think as part of a larger team, it's legit.
If someone wants to tune in, what would be your answer to them of why they should? Why should they watch Second Opinion?
Honestly, I think that it's, like I said earlier, we're going to give you the medicine you need, but we'll make it kind of fun. It won't be like going to the actual doctor, and you don't have to pay a copay, so, you know, it's free.
And honestly, we're going to tell you things that sometimes doctors won't tell you. One thing that we ran into that was super interesting when we tried to get docs to do the show, doctors that were employed by large healthcare systems, their healthcare systems wouldn't let them do it. They would not let them do it, or they wanted control over what we talked about. So we found a lot of independent docs who will come on, but we will tell you the things that you probably need to hear, but won't always hear from larger sources.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that? Is it that they're trying to safeguard the information, or maybe they're overcharging people for certain services? Like, what is it?
Yes, no, I was going to say a little bit of everything.
The issue is it's a much larger problem, but healthcare in America is not necessarily set up to keep you healthy. Healthcare in America, it so happens that it may keep you healthy, but it's more designed for profits. And it's not the doctors that are making the money, it's not the nurses that are making the money, it is hospital corporations, it is insurance companies, it is medical insurance companies, you know, and so I think that's the main thing. Like, most doctors are employed now, so they really can't use their voice. They are told what they can and can't say. And that's the absolute truth.
Yeah.
And so you guys have your own independent practice?
We're in our independent practice, so we can see and do
whatever you want.
On that note, I have to ask them, okay? So I'm...
You're straight in your
let's get it.
What's about to happen here?
The big story in the last couple weeks has been everything unfolding at the CDC.
Yes.
Okay? What has been, I'll just keep it general, just say, what has been your reaction to seeing the firings that have been happening at the top of the department, and then the exodus that happened, and thousands of people protesting as well? You can each just take a crack.
I think the system is broken, and anything that changes the way the system looks is probably not a bad thing. I also think, and I may get canceled for this, but I think RFK has been right about a lot of the things that he's said. I really do. You know, he's had a huge focus on diet and the quality of the foods that we're eating, right? And I think that's a big part of the problem. After speaking to this GI doc, for example, and he just broke down to me what you should be eating, what you shouldn't be eating, what we are eating, why it's a problem. And a lot of the things he said, RFK has echoed. I also have some concerns about vaccines. I'm not an anti-vaxxer by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't think that one size fits all is ever really legitimate in medicine. And that's the way these vaccines have been kind of promoted. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I think change is needed.
Okay.
But I will say that, and he and
There's a difference of opinion.
He's like, slow down, buddy.
I'm probably a little bit to the left of where he is on that. I agree. There's nothing in medicine, there's nothing in life that's one size fits all.
Right.
Sure. And vaccines are no exception. But I do feel like, and I agree with what you're saying about a lot of RFK's initiatives when it comes to diet and additives and ultra-processed foods. I think when it comes to vaccines, there is some wiggle room, but I think, unfortunately, you know, when you're a doctor in the room with the patient one-on-one, I can make recommendations that are more tailored to you, right? But when we're talking about policy for the nation, it's going to have to be a little bit more rigid. And I do think that there is a definite danger in what is happening at the CDC with regards to vaccines, but not just vaccines, with regards to research, because yes, we don't want to spend money on things that we see as being wasteful, but what's going to happen is in 5 years, 10 years, we're going to be behind the 8 ball, because research is not like you have a project today and you get the results next week.
Right.
You know, we're going to be so far behind the 8 ball. And so I think that I applaud the people that left. They absolutely needed to leave. Unfortunately, I don't know if that's going to ultimately achieve the goal they wanted. It makes the statement that needs to be made, but then we're going to have more people at the CDC who aren't really invested in doing what the CDC needs to be doing. So it's a mixed bag, in my opinion.
Right. I get what you're saying.
I was just going to say, though, the research slope is a slippery one, because who is supporting the research? And so a lot of what they're trying to do is root out the corporate interests in research.
Right.
And that's a big part of it, too, because
who are they replacing them with?
Well, I don't know. I guess that's what we're going to find out.
That's the question.
You know, what about from the university side, where there are, you know, there's federal money that gets pumped into these prestigious medical schools, right, to fund their labs and all that. What do you see the impact of the Trump administration pulling so much of that money?
I think that's going to be huge, because again, like when we were in undergrad and even in med school, like people think, like they see a commercial for medication XYZ, I'm like, oh, I just heard this, it's a new medication. Well, that's been in the pipeline for years, if not decades. And a lot of that research, sure, it happens on the pharmaceutical level, but that's kind of questionable sometimes with their results, you know. But it also happens in the university setting. And when they take that funding away from the university setting, the pharmaceutical companies aren't going to stop funding their research, right? So I think we're going to see that the results are going to be very skewed. So I think it's very unfortunate. Again, I think it's not something we're going to see the results of today or tomorrow, but in the coming years and decades, I think we're going to really feel it.
Okay.
All right, second
Can't
opinion.
wait for the show.
September 15th. I can't wait.
Yeah, exactly. And then real quick before we let you guys go, is there any rule of thumb to delineate who's Dr. J and who's Dr. I?
The short ugly one is Dr. J.
That is hard.
I'll let him have that one. Thank you.
All right, make sure you tune in and watch the show on Fox Local. We'll be right back.
Thank you, guys.
Fox Local.
to Chicago Now. We are talking about something that impacts a lot of people. I mean, just about everybody is being impacted by this, and that is the rising cost of electricity. And joining us now to talk more about this is Jim Chilson, Citizens Utility Board member. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you for having me on. I'm sorry. I wish it were a better topic, a happier topic.
I know.
I know.
I mean,
seems like everything is going down this road this day.
Let's talk about this, though. The electricity costs are on average 5.5% higher today than a year ago, and natural gas has increased by 13.8%. What is this all attributed to?
Yeah, I'll start with electricity. There's a lot of different reasons for this. ComEd's electricity price has gone up about 45% as of June 1st. That ComEd estimated at the beginning of the summer that was going to cost customers about $11 a month. Well, unfortunately, it's been a rough summer. We've gotten hit with a double whammy. Not only did electricity prices skyrocket, but we also had a couple heat waves in there. So that extreme heat combined with the price spike means that we had customers who are saying that there were triple-digit increases in their electric bill from 1 month to the next. So it's been just really difficult. It's due to, honestly, everybody's getting a crash course on their electricity bill. There is something called capacity costs, which is just basically it's reserve electricity, and it's wrapped into the price of electricity. Those are determined by auctions run by the power grid operator, PJM interconnection. And that price for capacity for reserve power went absolutely through the roof in this auction. It went up by about 800%. That led to this 45% increase in ComEd's price.
And so this is just built into the situation that we're stuck with. This is essentially the hand that we have all been dealt.
Yeah, now the good news is there are a lot of issues. There are a lot of ways to fix this. You know, we're seeing unprecedented increase in demand because of data centers. But there are policy solutions that we could implement that could solve these problems, and that's what we need to do. You know, a lot of people are surprised to hear that not only on our electric bills are we paying for electricity that we use, but also this reserve power, this capacity price, we're paying for power that we may use in the future if demand goes through the roof. One thing that everybody should know is that ComEd's actually not profiting off this increase on the supply portion of the bill. They're trying to raise another part of the bill, and shame on them. But this is dealing with supply. They don't profit off that. The ones that are making money, the ones that are celebrating this increase while we go through all this pain are big power generators, mostly fossil fuel generators. They're laughing all the way to the bank. So one thing we could do is improve policy at the power grid operator, PJM, which many people haven't even heard of, but we could improve their policy to connect power plants more quickly. Right now, there is plenty of power waiting to be connected to the grid, potential power, and sometimes they wait years to get connected. These are modern power plants, wind, solar, battery projects that could bring down those prices, and that's just not happening. And that's why CUB and other consumer advocates are pushing the power grid operator, PJM, to clean up its act.
You know, Jim, let me ask you this, because I have a coworker who literally sits right next to me. He was telling me just yesterday, not even knowing that this segment was coming up, he was saying that his bill is up, his electricity bill, and he has solar power. He has solar power connected to his home. He has the solar panels. Why would his bill also be up?
That's a really good question. I don't know, because I've talked to a lot of people who said their bill with solar power has been next to nothing. They've been doing very well during this price spike. So I'd love to see that bill and love to look at what exactly is happening, because there might be some dysfunction at the home that we can pinpoint. So I'd love to see that bill. But you know, one of the ways out of this is through clean energy options, not only big clean energy power plants, but you know, through things like solar panels on people's homes. Of course, not everybody has the budget. Not everybody gets as much sun. So again, this gets back to improving power grid policy at PJM interconnection so that they can clean up their act and do a better job of connecting these power plants that have been waiting in line. Some of them wait in line for years. They never actually get built. because the approval process takes such a long time.
Wow.
So there are solutions out there, but unfortunately what's happened is this power grid auction I told you about that determines capacity prices, they had another auction since then. It led to a second straight year of record prices. So we are going to be dealing with these high prices into 2027, the first half of 2027. So definitely this is an urgent problem. We need to continue to to fix policy. And just with individual consumers, we tell them, please practice energy efficiency, be smart about it. Energy efficiency is never about taking risks, keeping your home too hot or too cold to save your energy bills. It's always about keeping your home safe depending on the season. So please, everybody should practice energy efficiency. That can help lighten the electric bills, but everybody should be safe in how they practice energy efficiency.
Can we dive a little deeper into this PGM issue? I'd like to understand it just a little more clearly. When you say that they need to clean up their act and we could improve the situation with better policy, can you contrast what the current policy is and what changes would need to be made to clean up the existing situation?
Yeah, the great question. So this is something a lot of people don't even know, what PGM is, and this organization has a huge impact on electric bills for 67 million customers. It's the largest power grid in the nation, goes from northern Illinois all the way to the eastern seaboard. And the policy it develops often impacts the rates we pay for electricity. In general, their policy tends to lead to big payouts to power grid operators at the expense of just average consumers like us, and we're paying those high rates. But what happens right now is they have the worst interconnection queue in the country right now, and that means that potential power plants, these are mostly modern power plants that are waiting to get connected to the power grid, take 5.5 years often to get connected to the power grid. And so we need to do a better job. Now, PGM is making some progress, but we need to keep pushing them to shorten that time. It is literally the worst wait times in the country for any power grid operator. It's with PGM, and we're seeing the consequences of that with these high electric bills. But in general, they tend to prioritize big payouts to these power generators, mostly fossil fuel companies that, again, like I said, are laughing all the way to the bank this summer while we pay these high bills.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds like legislation is needed.
Yes.
Jim Cholson with Citizens Utility Board.
Thank you.
We thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, you do the same. All right, coming up next, we're going to be talking about ICE operations in and around Chicago. We're going to dig a little deeper into that subject. We'll have it right after this break.
Welcome back. 10 minutes till noon on your Wednesday morning. As we have been reporting for weeks now, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, prepping to launch an operation, expanded operations here in Chicago. One that the Department of Homeland Security, they're calling it Operation Midway Blitz. Federal officials say that it is aimed at undocumented immigrants who have, like, for sure, criminal records. Critics, however, they're arguing this is political theater, that this is all about creating more conflict.
And more fear.
More fear in that community. So joining us now to help break down some of the dynamics that are at play right now, Naina Gupta. She is Policy Director with the American Immigration Council, to help us kind of unpack some of the legal and political stakes behind this whole operation. Again, it's called Operation Midway Blitz. Naina, thank you so much for being on the program. We really appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Naina, we've heard that, at least from federal officials, that they're doing this to get criminals off the streets that are illegal here illegally. Is that proving to be true?
No. We've heard this president and his administration over and over again use this phrase, we're going after the worst of the worst. What we know is that right now, 1 in 10 people locked up in immigration jails around the country are people with criminal convictions. Only 1 in 10. In other words, the overwhelming majority of people who are being arrested, detained, incarcerated by the Trump administration, ICE, and federal authorities are people who have absolutely no criminal record. We're seeing these agencies target longtime residents, asylum seekers who are following the rules, waiting for their cases to be called up in immigration courts. We've seen, here in Washington, D.C., where I'm located, where we've already been dealing with law enforcement actions, we've seen ICE go after Uber Eats drivers, restaurant owners, longtime residents of our city. That is in reality who is getting targeted with these raids. And in the first instance, there are not enough immigrants with serious criminal records to meet the daily arrest quotas that this administration has set for its raids. The administration is saying they want to arrest 3,000 immigrants per day. There are not even enough criminal immigrants to meet that quota. And so as a result, what we're seeing are these indiscriminate, in-community law enforcement actions that sweep in people who pose absolutely no public safety threat, and as a result have a chilling effect where thousands of others become afraid to go to school, show up to work, and participate in their communities.
Okay, you mentioned 1 out of 10 folks that are detained right now actually have some kind of documented criminal record. To your knowledge, what is happening to the other 9?
Right. So for the people who are currently in immigration detention facilities, what we know is that right now many of them are being denied access to court hearings where they're supposed to be able to make a case for release, where they're supposed to be able to say, hey, I don't pose a public safety threat. I've lived here for many years. I own my own business. I'm raising my kids. I'd like to be able to have access to more permanent status, but I don't pose a public safety threat. They are not getting access to those bond hearings. The Trump administration is increasingly depriving people of access to that. We also know that these people are languishing in absolutely deplorable conditions in immigration detention facilities around the country. Somebody arrested or picked up in Chicago could be detained all the way in Louisiana. This is a system that shuffles people around. It's a system where we're hearing reports of starvation, no access to basic medical care. We've seen more deaths this year in immigration detention facilities than last year or any other year. So what we know is that these are, on the one hand, people who pose no public safety threat, and on the other hand, are now facing extreme deprivation of their liberty, extreme consequences, and no meaningful access to due process. And I'll just add, this is a system where there is no right to an appointed lawyer. In a criminal case, if somebody is accused of breaking a crime, they have a right to an appointed lawyer. That does not exist in the U.S. immigration system. So when people are swept up or arrested and detained in these raids we're seeing in LA, Washington, D.C., now in Chicago, And if they are in fact locked up, they don't automatically get a lawyer. It's only if they're able to find one themselves that they have legal representation.
We only have a few minutes left, Nina, but I want to ask you, do we know anything in terms of the numbers? I know a lot of agencies are not giving up this information, but is there any indication of how many people have been rounded up and taken to these facilities?
It's difficult to know exact numbers given that there are people who are being arrested and detained, some who are released, others who are put into detention facilities. The immigration agencies are no longer making access to an online locator as easy as it used to be. So to your point, it is incredibly difficult to know. But what we do know is that they again have set a daily quota arrest goal of 3,000 immigrants per day. And there have been some weeks where they are hitting that goal, others where they're not. But they are constantly making policy changes to try to meet that goal, including using law enforcement resources from other federal agencies, trying to co-opt state and local police to do the work of immigration arrests. And so the impact here is both direct in that there are an increasing number of people that are being swept up. But as I mentioned, the impact goes even more broadly because there are so many others who are not swept up but are nevertheless terrified to even leave their homes.
When we hear about these dynamics, I know on my own social media, sometimes I'll see comments cross to the effect of, okay, these people may not be violent. They didn't follow the rules on their way in, though. There's no obligation for us to follow due process now that because they didn't. How do you respond to that argument?
Look, you know, there are millions of people here in the country who are undocumented. They don't have permanent status. But one of the biggest misconceptions is that these are folks who actually don't have a way to get right with the law. They might want to, but Congress has failed to provide pathways for people to actually follow the rules. And in the meantime, undocumented immigrants are paying federal and state and local taxes. $40 billion in 2022 in federal taxes.
Nina,
they are key.
I hate to interrupt you. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. We definitely want to have you back on the show. This is an issue that obviously will persist for quite some time. Oh, yeah. So we plan to have you back. Sorry that we had to cut you off, but we appreciate everything that you've had to say.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And we'll talk to you soon. All right, thank you so much for joining Chicago Now. Of course, we'll have much more tomorrow. Tomorrow's like what? Pre-Friday.
That's right.
Yeah,
Friday
so we'll see you on.
Welcome to
at noon. Breaking news, U.S. Marshals swarm a warehouse in Bensonville. We're going to let you know what we know about this raid.
And housing help, the massive new development that is opening up in Inglewood.
Taking a live look outside, we are on the upswing. The days just keep getting warmer, definitely feeling more like summer today. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Sylvia Perez.
And I'm Brian Jackson. We are following multiple breaking news stories for you today at noon. Attorney Pam Bondi is speaking right now for a raid that is happening inside of a vaping facility in Bentonville. Let's listen in.
Concerns about the Chinese vapes here in our country. So many